I want to hop into a few clips of Elmer Fudd back on Fox News in the wake of these last two ICE shootings happening 1 week apart, blaming the Democrats and defending ICE. So leave us a like on the video. We're shooting for 100 likes by the end of the day. Subscribe and comment if you have a moment, and we'll get straight down to the breakdown.
This all comes back to the Dems who are telling people don't comply with ICE. ICE is not a real law enforcement agency. Here's how you evade ICE. Now, you and I talked about AOC a year ago. She says, well, I'm advising my constituents of their constitutional rights. Don't open your door. Don't comply. You see signs at these protests, resist. And this is the problem. You need to comply with law enforcement.
That's hilarious, because what AOC actually did was remind all of her constituents of their rights in this country, something that, of course, these clowns want to take away from the groups that they deem unworthy of them, cough, cough, brown immigrants, because, well, yeah, even undocumented immigrants do have rights in this country. It's what makes us one of the greatest countries in this world. And when we see endless shootings from ICE with no remorse, no pause for accountability, when we have the deadliest year in ICE detention history, the deadliest period really as it's extended on, why would we then not want people to know what rights they do have regardless of their status, especially when this administration is stripping legality away from people like Haitians who did everything right, came here legally, have been paying taxes and contributing for years, now made illegal by the stroke of a pen, as white wealthy South Africans are being expedited into the country, by the way. But should these Haitians not now know what their rights are? They're so mad that people are coming to the defense of the people they want to inflict the cruelty on. It really is some bully level mentality.
President Trump's clear this policy is not going away, but it all goes back to the Dems who want to continually attack ICE and tell people to evade them, tell people don't comply, tell people to resist, and tell people ICE isn't a real law enforcement agency. You and I talked about this 1.5 years ago, Laura. I said if the hateful rhetoric didn't stop, there will be bloodshed. And I'm saying it right now. There's still going to be more bloodshed unless they shut their mouth and let ICE enforce the laws that they enacted.
I mean, this is just a threat, right? If you don't shut your mouth, there will be more bloodshed. It should not be lost on people either that each of these shootings have taken place in Democrat voting cities. They are strictly killing people in cities that they deem as the political opposition while making threats to those who represent them, speaking against their authoritarianism, their corruption, and more, to shut their mouth or it will continue. I mean, it's appalling, and it's even worse than I think we all warned would happen if Trump wanted to try and march ICE through the streets like the Gestapo, where we were told we were doing fake news, a situation where you hate to even say I told you so. But like Alex Preddy was on his hands and knees. He did not resist. ICE told Renee Good to leave. She was complying in that way, right? And if you want to look at the evidence in any of these shootings, they don't back up the DHS narrative. You executed 2 Americans on camera. It had nothing to do with the Democrats.
We got a lot of Americans abused, dead, and displaced from the workplace because of illegal aliens, and Democrats don't care. But we want the facts on this. Democrats don't care about Sheridan Gorman's facts or Stephanie Minter's facts, or any of the other young women who have been abused by illegals. All they say, Tom, is, oh, well, illegals commit less crime than American citizens. To that you say?
They don't want us to arrest their future Democratic voters. That's what they believe. They let millions of people in this country release from the country illegally, by the way, because they think the next Democrat administration is going to reward amnesty to who they think is future Democratic voters. We're ruining their long-term plans. This is all about future power. It's not about security of the homeland. It's not about making our streets safe again, which President Trump is doing every day. Every criminal alien we take off the street makes this country safe again. Every illegal alien, non-criminal, that we take off the street sends a message to the whole world. There's no free giveaway here anymore. You enter the country illegally, you're going to be deported, you're going to be detained, you will not be released under President Trump.
I truly don't know why they let these racist assholes come on here and spew the great replacement theory when it has been literally linked to a dozen mass shootings in the last 15 years. It's incredulous that Fox News can get away with this. And I, again, just have to point out how these clowns play both sides of the coin. They want to parade around like Trump is taking the Hispanic vote in historic margins, while Democrats also want to bring in migrants to turn them into voters. It's the long con. And to just be serious, they can't point to a single policy of any Democrat ever that would indicate this. The last president to do amnesty was Ronald Reagan, quite the liberal, and Obama had demonstrably high deportation numbers. Joe Biden tried to do border legislation his first week, was willing to sign conservative border legislation in 2023, and dropped border numbers by executive order before he even left office. But don't pay attention attention to any of that, guys, because, you know, the vibes will tell you the Dems want open borders so they can win elections.
You have full confidence that the agents, especially the newer agents, again, they're trying to do their best under very difficult circumstances, but that they have adequate training to do the types of stops that have to be done. I know there's a process for stopping someone. Usually you pin them in, 3-point pin, I think. But have they had that training? Are you confident that they are fully equipped to carry those stops out?
Look, the agency as a whole, I've been a while since I went to the academy, but I pulled the training curriculum on vehicle stops. And it's good training. It's sufficient training. It's practically the same training as Border Patrol vehicle stops have. And I was a cop in New York. It's pretty much the same training. So I looked at the curriculum. The curriculum is fine, and it really talks about when do you stop a car.
Cops who famously train less than a barber does is the standard in which he's saying ICE training is close to. And it's led to 18 shootings, 7 murders from ICE, where again, 2 Americans, which like doesn't make it extra special outside of the fact, why in the hell would immigrations and customs enforcement ever need to shoot an American, let alone 2 Americans, let alone one who was driving away after you told her to drive away, let alone one who was on his hands and knees. But glad to know these clowns not only think ICE doesn't need any reforms and billions of more dollars, but this guy seems to not even be all the way up to date on their trainings and could only say it was, well, good. Obviously something's wrong here. It's leading to chaos unfolding in American cities, and they want you to believe it's all the Democrats. None of this happened when the Democrats controlled everything, but now that the Republicans control everything, well, it's somehow the Democrats' fault because of logic, of course.